What happens when investigators face a mass tragedy with no clear motive? On October 1st, 2017, Las Vegas became the site of America's deadliest mass shooting. But even today, crucial questions remain unanswered. After reviewing thousands of pages of FBI reports and police investigations, I'm going to walk you through the facts, the timeline, and the lingering mysteries that continue to puzzle law enforcement experts. The Las Vegas shooting stands apart from other tragic events not just because of its scale, but because it defied the typical patterns that investigators rely on to understand these incidents. Most perpetrators leave behind manifestos, social media posts, or clear ideological motivations. This case had none of that. Today we'll examine the official investigation findings, the timeline of events, and explore why this particular case continues to challenge our understanding of such tragedies. We'll look at the evidence objectively, focusing on what the investigation revealed and what questions remain open. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this case became a turning point in how law enforcement approaches threat assessment and hotel security protocols. Stephen Paddock was by all accounts the last person anyone would suspect. At 64 years old, he was a successful real estate investor and accountant who had earned approximately $2.1 million through professional gambling. Casino security experts described him as their lowest risk type individual. Steven Martinez, Senior Vice President of Global Security for MGM Resorts, stated that Paddock was a very typical guest who would spend hours playing video poker and using normal hotel services. Deputy Police Chief Andrew Walsh noted that Paddock did nothing to stand out. He was just one man in the sea of thousands of hotel guests. This presents our first major question. How do security systems identify threats when the individual displays no obvious warning signs? What makes this case particularly challenging for threat assessment experts is that Paddock had no criminal history, no known mental health interventions, and maintained normal social relationships. He was what security professionals call a clean skin, someone with no apparent red flags. The investigation revealed that Paddock's planning was extensive and calculated. He checked into the Mandalay Bay on September 25, 2017, booking 2 adjoining suites on the 32nd floor, rooms that provided an optimal vantage point overlooking the concert venue. Between October 2016 and September 2017, Paddock purchased nearly 60 weapons, mostly rifles. His computer searches included research on open-air concert venues, SWAT tactics, weapons, and explosives. He had also made reservations at hotels during other major events, including Lollapalooza in Chicago. The level of tactical preparation was unprecedented. Investigators found detailed calculations in his notebook covering sniper fundamentals: distances, windage, bullet drop, and trajectories. He had installed surveillance cameras, one hidden under a room service card in the hallway and another over the door's peephole. This raises a critical question about detection. At what point does legal preparation cross into actionable intelligence for law enforcement? The events of October first unfolded with tragic precision. At 9:40 p.m., as country music star Jason Aldean began his closing performance for 22,000 concertgoers, the attack began. Security guard Jesus Campos was responding to what seemed like a routine door alarm on the 32nd floor. What he didn't know was that this alarm, caused by a guest leaving their door ajar, would save countless lives by leading him to discover the source of the gunfire. When Campos approached the hallway, he encountered metal brackets that had been installed to prevent the stairwell door from opening. As he investigated the unusual drilling sounds coming from the suite, Paddock opened fire through the door, wounding Campos. At 10:06 p.m., Campos radioed, "Shots fired in 32-135. Maintenance engineer Stephen Shuck arrived 2 minutes later and also came under fire. Their quick reporting allowed police to locate the source while the attack was still ongoing. The response time was remarkable. SWAT teams reached the 32nd floor within minutes, but by then, the shooting had stopped. They found Paddock deceased from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, surrounded by 24 weapons and over 5,000 rounds of unused ammunition. The FBI's final report, released after extensive investigation, concluded that Paddock acted alone. However, it also acknowledged something unprecedented. They could not establish a clear motive. Unlike virtually every other mass violence incident, Paddock left no manifesto, no social media posts explaining his actions, and no evidence of radicalization or ideological motivation. The report stated there was no evidence of radicalization or ideology to support any theory that Paddock supported or followed any hate group or domestic or foreign terrorist organization. The investigation did reveal some potential contributing factors. Paddock's wealth had declined significantly in the 2 years prior to the attack, dropping from over $2 million to approximately $500,000. He had lost more than $600,000 to casinos, paid $170,000 to credit card companies, and spent $95,000 on weapons and ammunition. Family interviews provided limited insight. One brother suggested Paddock may have been bored with everything and wanted to achieve the highest casualty count to be remembered. Another brother believed Paddock was suffering from mental illness and had become paranoid and delusional. This tragedy led to significant changes in security protocols and legal frameworks. The state of Nevada classified the shooting as an act of terrorism, though federal classification remains different, which became important in subsequent legal proceedings. A settlement of $800 million was reached between MGM Resorts International and more than 4,400 victims and families, one of the largest settlements in U.S. history for a mass violence incident. The case also prompted hotels nationwide to review their security procedures, particularly regarding guest monitoring and threat detection. The challenge remains. How do you identify threats when traditional warning signs aren't present? The Las Vegas shooting remains unique in the annals of mass violence incidents, not just for its scale, but for the absence of a clear motive that investigators could identify. Despite one of the most thorough investigations in FBI history, involving thousands of interviews and extensive digital forensics, the fundamental question of why remains unanswered. This case has forced law enforcement and security professionals to reconsider their threat assessment models. It demonstrates that traditional indicators may not always be present, and that prevention strategies must evolve to address this reality. The 58 white crosses that stand as a memorial on the Las Vegas Strip serve as a reminder not just of the lives lost, but of the ongoing challenge of preventing such tragedies when the warning signs we rely on simply aren't there. What aspects of this investigation do you find most significant for understanding threat assessment? Have you noticed changes in security procedures at hotels or large events since 2017? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this analysis helpful, please subscribe for more in-depth examinations of significant events and their lasting impacts. In the next video, we'll explore one of the darkest mass shootings in modern history, the McDonald's Massacre. Until then, take care.